Okay, guys. Now let's look at dividing with radicals and what that means. So if I have something like 5 rad 6, and let's say I'm dividing it by, let's call it 15 rad 6. Let's say I'm dividing it by 5 rad 30. So let's see what happens, okay? 5 goes into 15. I can still divide with the numbers in the front. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So this leaves me with a 3 outside of the radical. And then 6 goes into 30 5 times. So this leaves me with a radical 5 in the denominator, okay? Here we go. We just do our outside numbers with each other, straight division, what we're used to, and then our inside the radical numbers with each other, straight division, what we're used to. The problem is we are not, let's write this in a different color so it really stands out. We are not allowed to leave a radical in the denominator. Can't do it. We need to get this radical 5 out of the denominator. Okay? So, here's what happens with that radical 5. If we wanted to be able to get rid of the radical in the denominator, I need to multiply whatever the radical is a second time. I need to multiply radical 5 by radical 5, because then I'll have a pair of 5s that can break out of the radical. But you can never just do something to the denominator without also doing it to the numerator. So we'll also multiply the top by a radical 5. Okay? Now what happens from here is that on the top I get 3 times radical 5. That's just 3 radical 5. And then on the bottom, my 5s can pair up and leave the radical. So they're just going to be outside the radical. And then there's nothing left inside of the radical. And now I have another answer. It actually looks more complex than 3 radical 5, 3 divided by radical 5, but this is considered correct because there's no radicals in the denominator. 3 radical 5 divided by 5. I encourage you to get out your calculator and get a decimal approximation for this, and then also get a decimal approximation for this just to verify that they are actually the same thing. But remember, we need no radicals in the denominator. By the way, you guys, that is called rationalizing the denominator. What we did here is rationalizing the denominator. All it means is getting the radical out of the denominator.